Monday. Yeah, it's Monday. It's Monday and it looks really pretty out, but it's actually cold. It's in the mid 50s, getting down into the 40s tonight. Kind of a last gasp of winter, I guess, before we finally get a little bit warmer. I'm gonna go out for a little walk today. I have a hankering for barbecue, and I'm just gonna sort of stay in the neighborhood because, well, there's a lot of pretty stuff in my neighborhood. A lot of trees are in bloom, a lot of flowers are popping out, and of course the vice president lives nearby as well, or may soon. So we're gonna walk past the vice president's house, then we're gonna go down, and I'm gonna show you Forsythia Hill. I showed you this the other day, but it's only in bloom a couple days a year. So I want to make sure you guys see it. It's a sort of hidden little secret to Washington residents. Most tourists don't know about it. And then we'll come back up to the British International School, swing back up to my favorite Rockland's barbecue in Glover Park, grab a sandwich before coming back past the Soviet embassy back to my house. Anyway, this little hike's going to take about an hour. And I hope you guys enjoy a little view of Washington, D.C. This is the National Cathedral. This is an Episcopalian church, Church of England to those of you overseas. And it took about 80 years to build this thing. I think the cornerstone was laid by, or I think it was Teddy Roosevelt's time. And the final stone was put down under George Bush the First. George Bush the Elder, as they sometimes call him in D.C. Now, about, 2011, there was an earthquake, and the earthquake shook a lot of the stones on the top of the cathedral. And these, I think these literally weigh 2 tons, and they have been painstakingly trying to put these back together and reattach them up there. This has taken basically 10 years. Push the wrong button on the camera. Okay, let's figure that out. There we go. So up there you can see they're doing the construction. I really have to figure out this camera more. So the cathedral is closed due to COVID. I can't take you inside. If you've ever seen the movie The Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino and Kayano Reeves, there was this statue in Al Pacino's apartment that kind of moved, and they say it was kind of based on this statue here. In fact, the artist who made this sued whoever made the movie, and there was this settlement, I believe, because they said it copied too much of this was copied in that movie, The Devil's Advocate. I'm not really sure of all the final legal things. This is where Hagrid lives. Hagrid's the gameskeeper. Oh no, actually this is a little place called Open Cities. It's actually a restaurant, but like everything else in DC, it's closed more or less right now. It's been closed for a year now. But this is where all the kids who go to school on the campus here will pop up after school to do things that kids do after school. We're going to cut through the Bishop's Garden today because I suspect some of the trees will be in bloom down there. Let's go into the garden. Well, some things are in bloom. The cherry blossoms are in bloom. We're going to see a lot of cherry blossoms today, pretty much all over the city. Now, the big ones you can see in my previous videos from the cherry blossom down at the tidal basin, but they're kind of all over the city. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of cherry blossom trees in DC, all coming out right now. Most of the rest of this has not come out yet. There's a few plants that are blooming. Now the local schools around here, the religious schools, they'll come down here to this called Bishop's Garden, and this is where they teach the children about the Garden of Eden. And they explain that there are rules and stuff. And they tell each of the class 3 different rules. Secretly, though, the teachers time the kids to see how long it takes before they break the rules. So they then have sort of a readout Okay, this year's class broke the rules in 30 seconds. This year's class took 2 minutes. So it's sort of a unofficial, official way of tracking how the kids are going to be this year. There's rules like no running, no playing. It's not like don't eat the apple or anything. What would be the prettiest way? Let's cut back down this path. So the private schools here are going to go full-time, 100% attendance starting, just a couple weeks. So things have been a little bit crazy as they get everybody ready to go back to class 100%. I think this auditorium, this outdoor auditorium, where they sometimes have concerts and things, will actually serve as kind of a classroom for some of the bigger events, so they can properly social distance in a space like this. So let's cut back down through here. Michael Collins, who was one of the Apollo 11 astronauts, the lunar module command pilot, he actually went to high school here. And there's a tree here, I believe, that was planted by Michael Collins, got a little plaque. Al Gore also went to school here, and a number of other politicians have graduated from this school here on my right. I think we can go over to this other cathedral. So while we were just at the National Cathedral, which is the Episcopalian Church, this, I believe, is a Greek Orthodox cathedral here in Washington, D.C. And I can't actually pronounce the official name because, well, you'll see. You'll see the guy's name. I don't think there's another Orthodox church or cathedral down the street, like an Eastern Orthodox or something. Cherry blossoms all up and down this street. Oof, look at these. Just beautiful. So many of them. These trees are kind of expensive, I think. I think they're expensive because the only time I go and look to buy a cherry blossom is when they're blooming, and that's when everybody else is looking, saying, "Oh, we gotta buy cherry blossoms," and they're expensive. But if I go back in the fall or something, I could get them cheaper. This whole park is pretty good. Okay, so I told you guys the name of this place, but I'll go over and look it up here. Or this park. Actually, the cathedral's not the name, it's the park. I'm going to need help. There we go. Bishop Emilianos Laulosus. I can't pronounce that. Can you guys pronounce that? I'll leave that for you guys. That's the name of the park. All right, let's go down Massachusetts Avenue here. St. Sophia Greek Orthodox Cathedral. Okay, so I can say that, St. Sophia. I just can't pronounce the name of that park. Alrighty, let's make our way down to the Vice President's house. There's another cathedral down here, and then we're going to go over towards the VP's estate. Here, I'll walk right down the middle line for those of you who have some sort of OCD. People are always saying, like, I want to see this guy, I want to see the sidewalk. When I'm walking with you, I get dizzy. I'm sorry, it's just how it is, you know, especially when I'm like busy pointing and turning and stuff. I've always liked this house. This house kind of reminds me of the Home Alone house. That sort of brick color, it's a little bit smaller than the Home Alone house. For those of you who've seen the movie Home Alone, you know what I'm talking about. I don't think it's currently an ambassador or an embassy. It might be like some sort of think tank or like some organization in support of some relations or something like that. Maybe it isn't about it. Wait a second. That's not an American flag. Yeah? So that flag has 1 star. What is that, Liberia? Is that the Liberian flag? Who has 1 star? I can't remember. All right, gotta look it up. I think that might be Liberia. All right, let's check it out. Do. It is. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. Look at that. That is the Liberia flag. So maybe that is the Liberian ambassador or Liberian embassy. Or just some guy from Liberia who has a really cool house. I'd vote embassy or ambassador rather than just random Liberian resident. So over there is the other church / cathedral I was mentioning. I think that's like a Orthodox cathedral, Orthodox church. No, I don't really know the difference between cathedrals and churches. One of those things they didn't teach you at Notre Dame. Let's see if we can find the name of that. Oh, some little kids in front of the Iraqi embassy. So, as we've seen many times, this is the Iraqi embassy / ambassador's residence. This is a Buddhist center. That's Cape Verde's embassy. And this is a small sign, which means I got to pull out my glasses. National Cathedral of the Church in the what? Orthodox Church in America. So the National Cathedral of the Orthodox Church in America, St. Nicholas. Was that Russian? Eastern Orthodox? Yeah. Not sure. But it's just up the street from the Vice President's house. And you guys remember the other day I showed you that old castle downtown DC that was owned by a beer baron, the Hoyrichs Castle? Well, this building here was owned by his son. The Hoyrichs, like the heir to the Hoyrichs brewing fortune, built this house just next to the Vice President's house. Oh, they are doing construction. They're putting in a big pipe here. I think this is a water pipe. They had a huge pipe here like 2 hours ago when I drove by. I guess it's down in that hole now. It looked too big to be electrical. It was like one of these big 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch pipe kind of things. Let's just go over to the Vice President's house, where they're busy as little beavers today. They're just busy, busy, busy. I've seen cars all over the place today. In fact, I'm probably going to make a video just about the Vice President's construction that I've seen lately. But that's the Vice President's house. Take a good look at it because we're not going to see it in about a month. In about a month, the trees are going to block the view. So this is about the best view we're going to get for the next 6 months or so. Right over here from Crown Princess Martha, who is going to be the subject of a new PBS show called Atlantic Crossing. She fled to America to escape the Germans, and she befriended Franklin Roosevelt. FDR was very much infatuated with the Crown Princess. Very much. In fact, it's kind of said that she was his last love. So I wanted to go over here for a minute and see if I can see a master clock. For those of you wondering, that is the U.S. Naval Observatory master clock. The atomic clocks of the U.S. Naval... Oh, there's cars coming out. Of the U.S. Naval Observatory is the official time of the U.S. government. So when you have to pay your taxes, when you have to submit some form, when the military needs some time for something to blow up or something, it's all based on this clock. And it's kind of cool because if you actually look at your Apple clock, it pretty much follows this same time server. So we should get a walk light. Boy, that was an annoying car. I want to get there just at the right time though. Oh, I missed it. I just missed it. Are those cherry blossoms? If those are cherry blossoms, they're the biggest ones I've ever seen. Look how tall that tree is. Look at that. That's as tall as the building. That's 33 stories, 30 feet, 40 feet. This is the Vatican's embassy, though it has this really funky name that's not embassy. But basically this represents the Holy See's interest here in Washington, as the Vatican is basically considered a country, diplomatically. And they've got great trees. Next to that is the Embassy of Finland. And they sometimes have really good books for free. So let's go check out them. Ah, more Forsythias. So this is the Finnish embassy, and they have a little library, and sometimes they put out some good books. Let's see what they've got today. Oh, they do. They have Samoka again. Oh wow, this is a good book, guys. As Red as Blood. This is called like a what is it? A Girl with a Dragon Tattoo for young readers. So if you've got a young girl who wants to read a book, it's kind of like a Nordic crime. It's a series. There's 3 of them: Red as Blood, Black, and White. But I've already got that book. But if you're looking for something for your kids to read, not like young kids, but like teenager kids, you can check that out. Some Scandinoir, what do they call that? Like Scandinavian crime novel type stuff. Anyway, pretty interesting. So, up over there we have the Vice President's house. Now there's this big chimney back here is the one that they were working on for the longest time. They had crews up there a couple days. I saw them, and I read that there was actually 7 chimneys in the Vice President's house. I don't think it's 7 chimneys. It must be like 7 fireplaces, and they all vent out into 1 or 2 chimneys or something like that. This guy's walking really slow. Oh, there's some gorgeous houses over here. I don't think I've taken you over here. So you remember a couple weeks ago when there was that huge fire and I told you it was in a really nice posh neighborhood of DC? Well, that neighborhood's over here. It's on the other side of this hill, but I can show you. So if I cut down through these woods, there's some really posh houses back over here. A lot of ambassadors live back here. There's a couple embassies, technically embassies / ambassadors' residence. And it is big time bucks. Interestingly, there's a lot of houses for sale right now back there. I guess there's just not enough demand for ultra uber rich kind of properties right now, such that there's like 5 or 6 of those up for the market. Those are like 5, 6, 10, 12 million dollar houses. This is where I wanted to be. Now at nighttime there's a bunch of deer that come down here. There's like 5 or 6 deer that'll come out of the woods and just sort of hang out here. They're so used to people. You could probably feed them if you wanted to. Here we go. Where should we go next? Now those houses over there, those are like part of the U.S. Naval Observatory, where the actual telescopes are. You can see there's a big observatory with a telescope, and then it has one of those sun dial kind of things. Those things called a sun sphere, where it goes up and down. And then there's like another officer's quarters over there. We used to be able to go back and look at those telescopes. The telescope there is like over 100 years old. It's the telescope that found the moons of Mars, if I remember right, like 100 years ago. But since 9/11, we can't go back there anymore. Kind of a shame. Now this is where I see the deer. The deer are usually around here somewhere. It might be a little early for them. They might have to come out a little later. Now they came out here the other day and they cut down a whole bunch of trees. I think they were dead, but they were like the kind of trees they needed cranes to cut down. They were so tall. Over to the British Embassy. Looks like somebody kicked all the blue rocks out. Odd. So that is actually the flag of the British Diplomatic Corps, or the British Foreign Office. It's not actually just your standard British flag, but it's got this like logo in the center of it. I never noticed for a couple years until one day I went by and the wind was blowing. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty random. Oh, this park is in full bloom. Across from the British ambassador's house, which is currently empty. In fact, the entire British embassy is empty, filled with cranes, construction gear, big pipes, boarded up windows. It makes sense though, there's like nothing going on, there's no tourists, there's very few Brits here and visiting. They don't really need anything, so let's just remodel. Beep, beep, beep. So there's one of those cranes. So I saw one of those at the Vice President's house a while ago, but I haven't seen anything like that in a couple weeks. This is the British ambassador's place, of course. But they're rental cranes. Here's the Churchill statue. As I mentioned before, Churchill, who was, mother was American, well, he had 1 foot in America and 1 foot in England, and that's representative of the statue. 1 foot is on US soil, the other foot is on the British Embassy property. So he's sort of straddling the line between two nations. Nelson Mandela at the South African Embassy. After apartheid ended, they actually doubled the size of this embassy. It's kind of interesting. Guess they had more people to represent. Over there is the former Iranian embassy, and then the former Iranian ambassador's place, both of which are currently empty. This is the Bolivian embassy with this really funky flag. You guys were telling me on my last trip down here that this is a flag supposed to represent all the peoples of Brazil, or all the peoples of South America, maybe. Oh, it's a pretty funky flag, but that's kind of like the second flag of Bolivia. There's the main flag, but they have like a backup flag that they fly. Here's Brazil. This is the Brazilian, oh wow, look at all the trees. The Brazilian ambassador's house is stacked with cherry blossoms. Just a little burned out though because of the sun. Let me see if I can show you the cherry blossoms. Those are pretty amazing trees, huh? That's a big tree. So. Anyway, let's make our way down to Forsythia Hill. So just give you an example of how crazy the weather's been. So like it was 82 degrees the other day, but the maintenance trucks, they still have their snow plows on. Yeah? Now, it's not supposed to snow anytime soon, but it was snowing a few weeks ago. And there was threats of snow a few weeks ago, such that they had the blades up on the trucks. So, I mean, eventually they'll probably take them off, but just a crazy, crazy weather. Boy, this guy's flying. He's gonna go through the brake! Oh, he had to stop. Well, he's not in service. That's why he's driving so crazy. He doesn't have passengers. So up there is the Italian embassy. It's pretty posh. I think it opened about 15, 20 years ago. But it was like a totally new construction. Not like rebuilding some old house. Ugh. And in we go, into Rock Creek Park. So for those of you who want to actually follow this hike one day yourselves, right over there is the Islamic Center of Washington, D.C., here on Massachusetts Avenue. And this is Rock Creek Drive, and this is, I think, Whitehaven. This street here is, I think, called Whitehaven. Don't quote me on that one, but quote me on that one. That's Rock Creek Drive, Massachusetts Avenue. And you can go into this park here, yeah? This is Rock Creek Park, on sort of like the upper level. And this is going to connect us into the Dumbarton Oaks Park. And we're going to go over there. So if you want to follow this path one day, that's where you come. It's a pretty wide, actually, this is a pretty wide path up here. Later on it gets a little crappier, it's a little narrower. Whew. Well, someone wrote in one of the comments that they really like all the old bridges in Washington, D.C. So we're going to take a slight detour here so you guys can take a look at this bridge. This is the Massachusetts Avenue Bridge over the Rock Creek Parkway. Oh, we got some helicopters coming here. in a moment. Ew. So yeah, this is a stone bridge. And I hear the whoop whoop thump thump. Rock Creek Parkway is actually a parkway for cars, yeah, but it's also a parkway for helicopters. It's actually one of the like 6 routes or something. There's a bunch of different routes that run through Washington, D.C. And this is the Rock Creek route. And over there you can see, what is that, a UH-1? Yeah, that's just one of the standard old Huey type helicopters. I think it's, is it a blue? Could be the Army. The Air Force has blue, the Army has sort of this blue-black. I think that's an Air Force helicopter. But helicopters in D.C. are, well, crazy. I mean, crazy coming. At like 5 or 10 an hour. It drives people nuts. There's actually been like reports on the studies of helicopter noise. My friend who lived on the Potomac River, he told me that the jets taking out a national airport, that was one thing. But the helicopters, they just shook his house. The thump, the concussion, it just was like non-stop sometimes. The windows would rattle and everything. Really quite crazy. Here again is the Italian embassy on the other side. And up there's a fence here, and then I think that surrounds the Danish embassy, which is up here, Denmark's embassy. So we got some pedestrians coming. We'll have to get off the path a little bit. And back into the middle we go. So what else can I tell you about today? The kids are off school this week, so I'm spending some time out in Maryland. Trying to relax. Still come into the city every day. But sometimes it's nice to rest without the noise of the city. I could tell you all I'm letting you listen to the birds, but the reality is I just hadn't thought of anything interesting to say at this point. Sometimes it's just a path. It's just a bunch of trees. It's just a bunch of stuff, Dad. I get that a lot from the kids. Now, some of the this is Dumbarton Oaks Park, Garden, whatever you call it, Rock Creek, even Glover Archibald. But the locals, a lot of them call it the 100-acre woods. The reason is there's this bobbling brook that runs through the thing. You can see the water streaming. Lots of kids come out on the little bridges and have Pooh Stick races where they drop sticks and see who comes out the other side of the bridge. So some people call it the 100-acre woods. But there are very few tourists here. This is sort of a little Washingtonian secret. Oh wow, the Dumbarton Oaks Gardens, unfortunately, they're closed right now, but they're fully in bloom up there. The estate up there has a beautiful garden, well maintained, and closed off to the public. Oh well. Let's go up this way. Dumbarton Oaks Park, U.S. Department of the Interior, National Park Service. So Dumbarton Oaks Park connects Glover Archibald Park, which is over there, and Rock Creek Park, which is the big one. And this is sort of a little side jaunt so that you can more or less stay in Park Service land between the two parks. Though there is a little bit of section where you have to walk in the street. Another bridge for you guys. This is a good bridge for stick races. In fact, what do you think? Should we get the long skinny one, the big fat one? All right, guys, place your bets. Place your bets. Big fat. It's got a lot of muscle on it. Or the sleek skinny one. Who is going to win today? Come over here. Oh, this is a good drop point. And they're off. And the suspense is killing me. And I think they got stuck. Story of my life. Bet on 2 horses, neither one finishes. Okay. Oh, there he is! Skinny one. Skinny one has come out alive, and the big fat one got stuck somewhere. There goes skinny one off to a better life, somewhere out in the Potomac River, because that's where eventually this will end up. It's going to go into Rock Creek, and from Rock Creek into the Potomac. The fat one didn't make it out. The thick one is stuck under the bridge. C'est la vie. Life goes on. So up here on the left is Forsythia Hill, where the Forsythia plants have just basically taken over both sides of this pathway. And it's absolutely very beautiful. Let's go on up. Now there is a gate, Forsythia Gate, and I can't really make it through that, of course. But that's where it gets really crazy. Oh, a bee. Just goes on and on and on. Dumbarton Oaks. The cherry blossom there. Quite impressive. Up there you can see the Danish embassy. Some of you have never seen one of these, so I'll show you up close. Now these are only going to be in bloom for days, a few days. When the weather gets bad, they're gone. So if you're in the DC area and you want to see it today, tomorrow, get out here, because they will be gone very, very soon. Forsythia Hill. Okay, let's keep moving. Looks like the White House fence. This little chicken wire thing. Tempting. Tempting. Ooh, not sturdy. That or I'm getting very fat. It's pretty deep too. It did wobble a bit. Give me a break. I know I didn't go over it as fast as I would have as a child, but I had more pressing matters like a wet foot or a wet camera, things I never cared about when I was 12 or 18 or 26. Let's get back on the path. There we go. I actually brought my other gimbal for part of the trip today, and then I put it back in the car. Just didn't feel like carrying the heavy gimbal for the iPhone. Maybe tonight, though. I'm thinking tonight of going down to the cherry blossoms at night, doing a live stream. I thought that might be kind of cool. But traffic is a nightmare down there. Let's see. The path diverges. And they both look well traveled, that's the problem. There's a bit of rain here, it's still kind of wet. Something you'll notice in the summer is that the paths I'm going to walk on in Hong Kong are much more developed than these paths. These are just like basically roads with a bunch of rocks. Paths in Hong Kong are a little bit better maintained. Some are actually paved all the way around. When you got that many people hiking, you know, it's just the only way you can do it. There is one path, though, known as the Twins. It's two giant hills. One of the hills has like 1,000 steps. I mean, 1,000 steps to get up this hill, which is just mental. So Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, their house is up there. But we're not going to go there. Not today, because that just puts us back at the vice president's place. We're going to cut through here. That was a gushy one. Ugh. Not sturdy. I can already taste my lunch. I'm very excited for my lunch. In fact, I was tempted to pre-order it so I don't have to wait, but that means typing and stuff while I'm walking. If you're watching this on YouTube, guys, this is tape delay. This is not live. The chat is live. I'm here in the chat, but your video you're watching is filmed today. Oh, it's about 3 o'clock. I like to do it that way because I like to give you the 4K experience. Some of you have told me that you're basically locked up due to quarantines or lockdown rules or just out of an abundance of safety, and that these hikes are kind of a way for you to get out of the house. So I like to give them to you as close to eyeball quality as I can with the 4K. Though I guess if you're watching on a Premiere, you don't get the option of doing it. Unless you like reload the Premiere or something, then the 4K option appears as something you can click. Maybe if I upload it and then just let it sit for a little longer, YouTube will process the 4K video faster or something before the Premiere. Oof. Mud. Horse? Was there a horse? There was a horse. That's a horse print. Now the park police has horses, so they might have been on a patrol here with their mounted division. Because I don't think private horse owners come up this way. Yep, there's horse prints here too. It must have been pretty random for the guy walking down here and suddenly there's a horse. And up we go. Now, up here is a mystery to me. I've been told that there is a path that goes behind the Vice President's house back to an alley which leads to the barbecue joint. I'd like to hike that path because sometimes it'd be more convenient, but to go back there means the watchful eyes of the Secret Service will be upon me from the get-go. So I'm a little bit like, I don't know. Don't want to draw too much attention to myself. Don't want them grumbling and mumbling. Who is that guy again out here with a camera? That was all uphill if you hear me breathing heavily. So we're back behind the Vice President's place. I do see the black fence of the Vice President's property. And you can see back in there, you can see the observatory domes. We are back behind the observatory. But I don't know if there's a path. I just don't know if there is a walkable path back here. I guess we can look. Looks like there's a path there. Don't mind me. Just a guy hiking. Don't think there is one. Let's see. I don't think there is a path back here. Oh. Pet waste. There is kind of a path. Maybe. Should we just figure it out? It doesn't really look like a path. It just looks like someone's backyard. Oh well. It's been nice knowing all of you. If I get detained and grabbed or something. That doesn't really look like a path. Is there a way out of here? No. That looks like a swamp or something. I don't think that's a path. All right, we're gonna go around the long way. But now I know. There is not a path. You learn something new every day. Hopefully. Today I learned Google Maps lied to me. Google Maps actually maps you back that way, but it doesn't look like you can actually do it. Let's see, this goes through. This is not a path, this is a driveway. It sneaks behind the Trader Joe's and over to the road that we need to be on. Ooh, a scooter. Always a temptation, you know I love the scooters. Up we go. So I said it was cold earlier, but now after walking for however long we've been walking, I'm kind of warm. Someone once said when you're exercising, you should budget 20 degrees over the ambient temperature for what it's going to feel like. So if it's 60 degrees and you're running, it's going to feel like 75, 80 degrees. Which probably not totally accurate, but there is some truth in that statement. Trader Joe's. Ooh, there's a lift. Hang on a second. Let's see if this one's charged. It is not. It's a dead battery. Up we go. We gotta go about 4 or 5 blocks till we get to Rocklands for barbecue. Hopefully he's not busy today. He was busy the last time I went in there, so I went next door and got a hamburger. I think the Swiss embassy is up here in one of these buildings on my right. Just a nondescript office building. Somebody's embassy. Yeah, see, embassy compound, diplomat only. So this is some sort of embassy. I just don't know which one. Got cameras everywhere. It's got big, big doors that come flying down. They're definitely serious about their security. Now up here is actually part of the Chinese embassy. So right in here is the Chinese visa section. And this is where you go to get your Chinese tourist visa, or Chinese citizens go to get their passports renewed and stuff like that. It's always a bit crazy there. I think Chinese citizens have a lot of paperwork requirements. Time to cross the street. Oh, here's a whole bunch of scooters now that I'm basically at the place I want to be. These are the new Bird scooters. These are pretty good, except they've got the GPS locks on like certain areas, and they shut down very quickly if you go on the mall or something, which is annoying because that's where you want to ride it. This one's going to turn. We'll cross here. So, what do we have over here? This alley down here is the back door to the Vice President's house. And there's a sushi place, and then there's Good Guys. Good Guys as well, it's known for its chicken wings, if you know what I mean. Huh? Yeah, they have really good chicken wings. So I'm told, because I've never been in there. My wife won't let me go in there. It's one of those places. This is the Domino's pizza that caught fire like last week. And it like burned out the neighbor's place too, which is really a shame because the neighbor's restaurant just opened. Wow, it still smells like this Nepalese place. They just opened in the middle of a pandemic, and then the neighbor catches fire. It's like, ugh. And I think this post office was damaged too, but not Chipotle. The Chipotle was okay because they're used to spicy stuff. I wonder if the dumpling house has gone out of business. Ooh, I can already smell the barbecue from here. Ooh, it smells good. Oh, what do we got here? A battalion fire chief coming down? Or a special operations unit. Either way, something non-standard is going on. Oh, he's turning over there towards the Vice President's house. That's Battalion Chief 5. Okay, we'll have to go Google the fire tracker and see if there's a big fire or anything. The fact that it's just him and not the trucks would mean probably not. In we go. Hey, how you doing?
Hi there, how are you?
Just walked up. Tired.
Yeah.
Can I get a pulled chicken and fries?
Yeah, anything else?
Just a large soda. Oh yeah, it's here. It's here. It's here. So a few moments ago, we just saw the fire chief truck go by, but Battalion Fire Chief 5. So a few moments ago, we just saw Battalion Fire Chief 5 rushing over to some sort of call. It's a little bit odd. They don't normally run by themselves. Usually they run with the trucks. Turns out there's a suspicious package. Over at the Swiss ambassador's house on Cathedral Avenue, Secret Service, City Police, and the fire department are now responding. Thank you to Alan Henney, who I guys often praise as the man who knows everything that's going on in Washington, D.C. And he just tweeted me an alert. So maybe we'll go over there if we get this delicious sandwich done in time. But I don't really know if I want to rush for just a suspicious package. And just like that, we're done with lunch. There is a suspicious package at the Swiss ambassador's house just off to my right, about 7-8 blocks. But I've been told it's cleared. So, let's see if we can find a bike. Yeah, there it is. There's an Uber bike over here. It's a bunch of kids though. I'm going to turn the camera off so don't film the kids. Oh, they're college kids. I can tell college kids. Everybody looks like a kid to me now, even if they're like 20.
Is it COVID?
So we now have a bike. Except the seat's way too low. I have a green light with a walk. There we go. Hey, guess what? This one squeaks too. My luck with squeaky bicycles is still going strong. So we're going to cut behind the Vice President's house now and head over towards where we think the suspicious package was at the ambassador's house. But I suspect they're going to clear that any minute. It doesn't take that long to clear a misplaced Amazon package. Wow, this is noisy when you pedal. Oh my God, what is this? Jeez. That was insane. That was like a 4-inch drop. Like the sidewalk had gotten lifted up by the roots. That was like Evel Knievel in one of these Uber bikes. Oh, they gotta stop. Let me go over here. Whee! So that's a naval officer's headquarters. That's not the Vice President's house. The Vice President lives back over there. There's actually a second fence line separating the Vice President's house from the rest of the Naval Observatory. They're serious about her security. Yep, you can see all the cameras suddenly appear. Camera, 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 camera. And down we go. On your left. You're good, thank you. 358. 358.40. Ugh. This is a bit. Let's get up on the sidewalk, I think. There we go. Now normally I wouldn't ride on the sidewalk, I'd ride in the road, but there's construction going on at the Norwegian embassy and they blocked off the road. Ooh, cherry blossoms. Wow, this one's really white. Like shockingly bright white. Oh, no, 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 come on. Ugh. Geofence. What possible geofence is there here? An abandoned embassy is a geofence? The hell? Hang on a second. Ugh. So the bike's locked up. The bike has locked up for reasons that make absolutely no sense. Oh, good Lord. So, because this little stretch of land connects to the park is a geofence. You can't ride the bike in the park. But because the GPS is never 100% accurate, there we go. Ugh. God. Oh, come on, guys. Come on, that's so annoying. So basically it goes to like 100% brakes once you cross that line. Even though the line is only like 10 feet into the sidewalk. It's like, come on. Let's try to avoid some more fences. It's the cathedral again. We're kind of back where we started. Look at that. So this is Cathedral. Oh. The Swiss ambassador is down here a couple blocks, but I don't think we're going to see much. It's a big truck. I'll go down a little bit, yeah? Why not? Whee! Nothing. So the Swiss ambassador is supposed to live right around here somewhere. But I would have thought we would have seen police, fire trucks, etc. But it apparently is all done. It really does sound like a bird, doesn't it? Yeah, I think he lives on the other side of this school. This is the Murray School. It's a pretty nice school. The kids play some soccer games here. I don't know, I think they've gone back. Oh, they've got outdoor tents too. So they're on spring break right now as well. Well, when they're not on break, they've got some sort of outdoor classroom set up. Let's see what we got down here, because I think the Swiss ambassador is literally right next door. Yeah, there's the Swiss flag. And there is a Secret Service car here. No surprise. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of Secret Service in there. There's 4 or 5 inside. Renovation of the Swiss Embassy Chancery. Oh, here we go. Everybody's here. It's a party. Jeez. So let's take a picture. Interesting. Oh well. Boy, they brought that big fire truck down this little road. These guys got skills. They want to clear, they're done. Let me send this to Alan. Let's see, I'll get back out of here. This way. Yeah. Oh, my battery's running dead. That's a good thing we're almost done. So that's down there is the embassy. Oh, the fire truck's coming. How's he going to make it down this road? If he is going to try. Doesn't seem like it's cleared. I guess I gotta come down this road. No, you're just gonna go up the back road. And they're clear. Oof. Ow. Lots of people here. The door's closed on them. Like, get off our property. Okay.